Beijing is very clearly not open to allowing people to go to Xinjiang to see what is going on ground.
Anand, they have a lot to hide. They have even hidden from the world what happened with the pandemic and how it arose in Wuhan. And they cover, very meticulously. They clean the crime sites. So most of these concentration camps in Xinjiang, they are not only not open, but from time to time they sanitize them to make them impervious even to satellite imagery, from above. So what is happening is actually a genocide, a cultural genocide. They did it once in Tibet. The whole world knows it. They're repeating the same thing now against the poor Uyghurs in Xinjiang. And they're getting away with a lot of mass crimes. This is the most unfortunate part. So, of course, it's good that the Europeans are trying to put pressure. The Biden administration is also imposing sanctions for many massive human rights violations being committed by Xi Jinping's regime. But unfortunately, these will not move the regime much, because they are actually becoming even more hardline on these questions, believing that they are under siege from the Western liberal order. So I think it's time that the world also speaks up. And good that, News 18 is raising the issue. In India, people often forget that China is a very, very barbaric regime. And an extreme totalitarian regime, people tend to look at it only as a strategic threat.
Those people who try and talk about rights of people and talk about human rights continue to stay mute and silent about what China is doing in terms of brazen violation of human rights. Basic human rights were in this entire East Turkestan province. They've not said anything about the way the Chinese have treated the Tibetans in the past, what they did with Upper Manchuria.
Inner Mongolia also. There are lots of regions where cultural genocide and ethnic cleansing has happened on a mass scale. It is worse than Myanmar. It is worse than North Korea. But why do we only talk about, why should there not be an international criminal court, ICC investigation of what is happening in Xinjiang or in Tibet? That's because China is misusing its privilege as a permanent member of the UN Security Council and blocking all these high-level inquiries and investigations. You see the sham they did with the World Health Organization. It's now coming to light that the entire inquiry into what happened with the corona origins has been scrubbed clean, and they actually manipulated the whole process. They even selected which scientists should go and investigate in Wuhan from outside. So that's how, brazen they have become. How can they be called leaders of the world? And how can they be seen as a great power without any responsibility? It's a big challenge to the entire, humanity. It's not just a power question of stopping China or containing China. It's really a bigger issue, a moral issue being raised by this extreme regime that has become a threat to its own people and to its neighbors and to the world at large. Moral values are at stake.
Close to 3 million people in concentration camps. 3 million people in concentration camps, and nobody is asking a question. And now an entire delegation of European Union diplomats is being denied entry by the Chinese.
Anand, I think it's time that the world speaks up. We need to have also, information being spread about this, because what happens is the Uyghur diaspora is quite active in the US and in Europe, and they do have graphic evidence of the crimes being committed there. But many people, turn their eyes off thinking, well, that's how China is. What can we do about it? The point is, if you let it go and say, what can we do about it? Then it gives license for Xi Jinping to become even more rapacious. India, we are resisting them for their territorial aggression, but we must, as a democracy, we also need to speak up. We need to be in step with the Europeans and with the US on this matter. Biden wants more, Indian involvement in bringing out the truth about these totalitarian regimes and challenging them. So I think increasingly we should go in that direction. Democracy and human rights promotion, especially in these hardline authoritarian countries, is our responsibility.
Especially, and the entire muted silence over China also trying to impose Sinovac on 20 nations and singling them out, and also trampling on the human rights of people who are looking at their livelihood, lessons, etc. and work is something which is also shocking. Sriram Cholia, thank you for speaking to us.